says preparing for live stream, so I think we should be live now. And I think I see us. Let me just double check. Yep, we are live. I see yep. So let me go ahead and share in a couple of groups real quick and we can get the show rolling. So
Right. Hello,
good evening,
everyone. Hello, everyone.
everyone. Hey, this is Kitty London, host and creator of the People of Power Show. And every week, at least I try to sit down with movers and shakers, CEOs, entrepreneurs, some celebs, but basically people who are doing amazing things. And I am going to be doing just recently a series of recipients for a great reward for things that they do in the community. Let me just first of all say thank you, Children's Services Council of Palm Beach County, for sponsoring and funding shows like this and also organizations. So on each flyer, you'll notice that I put the Great Ideal Initiative recipient. And some people may say, what is that? Or how can I get that? And who gets that? So I wanted to make sure I got that information out first. And what the Great Ideal Initiative is a grant program from the Children's Services Council of Palm Beach County that funds local nonprofits. The GII aims to support programs that benefit the county's children and families. The GEI also encourages nonprofits to inspire young people, support parental engagement, improve innovations, create pathways to address racism, and fuel innovative partnerships. So I will again be doing a series of our 2024 recipients. So it is closed, but I will definitely tell you, when I hear about news next year, 2025, there'll be another group of recipients. So
Right.
Rhonda's promise, and Rhonda's no stranger to the people of power, but I was very happy when I saw her name on the list, and they're, like I said, they're going to be rolling in. So, one, congratulations, Rhonda, for all that you do in the
So,
community and to your nonprofit, Rhonda's Promise. So, I want to make sure that you get your due diligence by at least telling people who you are, and then we'll get into who is Rhonda's Promise and what it does.
yes, well, thank you for having me again. I'm fortunate to have been on your show before, and it's a great platform. And so I said I have to be here tonight. And so I want to thank you personally for the invite. Rhonda's Promise was founded on July 12th, 2021, right out of coming out of the pandemic. And it is my nonprofit that I started to continue to give back to the community, to work specifically with Black and Brown girls and women. So we have three major
Mm-hmm.
programs, and Children's Service Council is, like you said, one of the major funders. And I applied for the Great Initiative about 6 months ago and was delighted that we got it our second time. It's not easy. It's very competitive. I didn't get it the first time I applied, so I was excited as well this year to be funded for this. And we're going to be using the funding this year for our Girls Chat. This is going to be our third year bringing our Girls Chat conference to the South Palm Beach County area, because another thing Rhonda's Promise focuses on specifically South Palm Beach County. It is in my mission statement to really work with areas of Delray, Boynton, Lake Worth, and Green Acres. I was raised in Delray Beach. I'm a Delray girl and I love it. And
Mm-hmm.
so it is important for me to make sure that we have services in the community that brought me up. We've had tons of women's groups that poured into me. I was a member, for instance, J Bright Women's Club, the debutantes, and I loved
Mm-hmm.
that. I loved about being mentored. I was a BET, so I was mentoring in
Okay.
middle school. So
Mm-hmm.
those are things that was instilled in me young. And so as I got older, I gave back and I continue to give back. And so, like I said, about 3 years ago, coming out of the pandemic, I decided to launch my nonprofit. I put some amazing women around me. My board is dynamic. I would encourage anyone to go to our website, rhondaspromise.org, and see who the board members are. A very diverse group of women working in the community. And so I'm very pleased at what we've been able to accomplish already in 3 years. We also have our impact reports out there. I believe in data. I believe in letting
Okay.
others know what we have done and how we're making an impact. And so I'm just delighted to be here today to really talk a little bit more about the girls' chat, if I can,
Mm-hmm.
allow
Of
you to
course.
ask questions as you see.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, I really wanted to, and this is great that you said all that because so often, we're on social media, we see a lot of other things, but we don't know a lot about things that are for our youth. And I know sometimes parents will say, well, there's nothing for teen girls, or there's nothing for young boys, or there's nothing. There is a lot. And I think, for this platform and others like this, I think it should be one of our goals is to get those narratives out that we
Mhm.
actually do have programs and we do have people like yourself who have come up with great programs like this, it's specifically for the youth. So if I'm a parent now looking at this, Bronza, and I have young girls, can you tell me one, like, who is it, like, is it a certain age group? I mean, if I have a 7-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 18-year-old, is Rhonda's Promise for them, or can you kind of just say who it's for so we can, you know,
Absolutely. The
okay.
girls chat program is for middle and high school girls, sixth grade to 12th grade. We break it up into different tracks. What
Mhm,
happens is the young ladies get to pick the workshops. We have a keynote speaker who's going to speak. I design it just as if I went to a conference like you and I go to all the time.
mhm,
They come
mhm,
in, they register, they have their continental breakfast, they get their
mhm,
conference bag, and we go
mhm,
into a session and we start talking about what's the expectation of the day. And one of my
mhm.
board members, who you know very well, Miss Rosa, starts
Yes.
us out with our fitness and our power, get everybody up and standing
Mhm,
and feeling good. And then we go into our sessions. And so I've had folks present. I love public speaking. So we've had
mhm,
public speaking, which is important. We talk about the girls being their first advocate and
mhm,
networking. We've done STEAM and STEM. We're going to do that again this year. We have people coming in talking about technology and how Black girls can code and learn how to code. I've had
mhm,
folks from Urban League come in, like I said, talk about racism and diversity and inclusion. So we try
mhm,
to mix it up because I like the girls to come back every year and I want them to feel something different. I don't want it to be stale. I saw your posts and you are
mhm,
100% right about people post having events that are the same every single year. So I promise
mhm,
you, when we do this for Rhonda's Promise, we try to top what we've done the year before and we listen to the surveys. We do a survey
mhm,
with the young ladies when they're exiting before they get their certificate for the day with their
mhm,
community service hours. And they'll be very honest. They told me, hey, get rid of the lunch, get rid of the food. And so this year we're going to do a breakfast. We're going to do a nice sit down breakfast. So we're going to change it up versus the lunch because they just really haven't found anything on the menu. And you hate to see all this food going in the trash. Teens are very picky about what they like to eat and very honest about that. So we listen to our surveys from the young ladies and we adjust. And the girls' conference is really like a platform or a spring off because then we go into other programming. So, what the funding is going to allow me to do this year is not just have the conference, but have follow up sessions afterwards. So, every
okay.
quarter, we're going to be building on what they learned in the sessions. So, if they went to a coding session and it was only 45 minutes to an hour, that's just a snippet. We want to continue that in the next year. So that's what the
Mhm.
funding is going to allow us to do is have those wraparound services that include mentoring as well as going deeper into the subject areas that they learned at the conference.
Okay. And for people who are just, hearing this for the first time, when is the conference?
December 14th, Saturday,
Okay.
December 14th at Aloft in Delray.
All right.
Beautiful
Nice.
hotel down in Delray. Yes, like I tell you, we do it up really nice. We have
Hmm.
backdrops for them to take their pictures. We have
Hmm.
folks there interviewing them. I have videos on my YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel, so I have videos of
Hmm.
the conference on the YouTube. You can go see it. You can hear testimonials directly from the young ladies who've been to the last two. And we're just hoping
Hmm.
that the third one is going to be even better. And we just keep building upon this relationships that we have for the girls. Like I said, I love to see them come back year after year because then I know it's reaching them and it's something they found value.
Okay. So is registration open yet, or is
It'll
it
be
something
open
that's
next month. It'll be open
oh,
next
open?
month. Yeah. So
Okay.
we start registration in October.
Hmm.
Once we get to the 150, we'll close it and then they'll start getting information about, dress code and
Hmm.
workshops so they can start looking ahead of time to select what workshops they would like to attend.
Wow, that's a big head count, 150.
Yeah, that's
So,
the goal.
right? Yeah. So if you're watching this and you have a young lady that's you said in middle school or high school, this would be somewhere for them to go. I love the whole December 14th thing because I'm like, that's a great, holiday gift and going into the new year feeling empowered, hearing the speakers that they're going to hear is a great way to start the 2025, new year, new me.
That's right. And then they can plan. We did a vision
Hmm.
board last January, and then that would be
Nice.
good to have a session with the young people. I had a session with the adult women last year,
Hmm.
but that is something that we can incorporate. And the one thing
Hmm.
about this, we're fluid when it comes to Rhonda's Promise because it is mine. And I
Hmm.
can make those adjustments when I get feedback. And I tell people all the time, don't be afraid to approach me with an idea. Just because you don't see that program on my website or in my Facebook doesn't mean I would not be interested in partnering with you to bring that. If it's positive for Black women and girls, please reach out because I am looking for partners.
What do you think has been your most rewarding thing so far since you, I mean, 3 years? That's you've been doing it for a while.
I think the
How?
girl chat has really been one of my most rewarding, as well as I have a mental
Hmm.
health program called Hey Sisters. I
Oh,
think that
nice.
has been really good. I
Okay.
personally suffer with anxiety. So having folks to come
Hmm.
around and having folks to give tips and just really pour into each other
Hmm.
and just
Hmm.
really seeing the camaraderie, that's been really good for me. It's just finding my tribe and finding
Hmm.
folks who want to make sure that my nonprofit moves and gets better all the time. I'm surprised that I don't know why, but I am surprised when people reach out and say, "Hey, I have a grant opportunity for you. I was thinking of you for that," and stuff like that. So that kind
Hmm.
of warms my heart and speaks to my tenure here in the community.
Yeah, I think we're all suffering from a little anxiety. I've always suffered from that my whole life, and I think, as I get older now, I'm starting to learn more that I can't, whatever I can't control, I have to let it go. Because again,
Right.
life is lifing.
That's it is. It is most definitely lifing. So those who are out there
Hmm.
who love to pour into women, send those texts that say, "Breathe, you got this, girl, you're a
Hmm.
queen." Keep it up because we need that encouragement for us to continue to do this work out here.
Yeah, and also, how can the community get involved? I because when I heard you say in regards to you having speakers and people that come in, I know people that probably are out there who like, you know what, I have something to tell some young ladies, or I would like to be a part of this. Is that something that you have available for people who are wanting to help Rhonda's Promise grow even bigger?
Most definitely. So when we start launching in
Mm-hmm.
October, we're going to have a call for speakers. So anyone can apply and we'll give out the categories. We'll say what the topic areas they are. But if you're an expert in that area, you have something to contribute, please do. On my website already, I have a volunteer link. I have a volunteer application. I love volunteers. I would love to be able to start my Hope Academy, which is my middle school mentoring program. But as I said, we're all busy, have full-time jobs on top of doing Rhonda's Promise and my board as well. So I really am looking for some women to kind of help me get that mentoring program off the ground because there's schools around here that could use us. Some of the elementary schools say often they need professional Black women and brown women and Hispanic women to come in and mentor to
Mm-hmm.
show the kids. So I have a volunteer application. And then of course, I'm doing it the right way. I have my QR code. So the main way you can help is by donating. So we're constantly looking for donations and sponsors. We have our sponsorship guide as well on our website.
Yeah, and I just saw that Rosa is definitely in the chat, working the chat,
Oh, oh,
giving out all the information. So thank you, Rosa. I was going to put the website on the top of the video when we finish. I saw you put it in the chat as well. So thank you for when people watch it later. But I think it's just something that, the community definitely needs to rally around you, because it's this is what's needed. This is something that we need for our youth.
mhm.
Our young women need a place to be safe and feel like they belong somewhere. So I'm just saluting you all for creating this space
Yeah. Yeah, we do some
for
fun
them.
things. We most recently were at T-Licious Tea House and we did an etiquette class and I sold out of that. 35 young ladies packed in a small space there in Delray, brought in a expert in etiquette and
Mhm.
having young ladies stand up and speak and introduce themselves, shake their hand. We gave out awards. We encouraged everyone to talk and participate. That was another program that just warmed my heart because I know that when they left, I saw some friendships born. I saw people with their phones out exchanging numbers. They came in as strangers and left out of that 3-hour session as friends. And so doing
Mhm.
those type things for the young ladies, we all need a
Mhm.
tribe and we all need folks around us. And so doing those type things is really what makes Rhonda's Promise happen and why I do it and why I really, really want to make sure that we're pouring back into the community.
And
And
just I
before,
just
mhm,
No, I was gonna say I just need to make sure that you stay engaged with me in regards to any up incoming events. I know you have the one December 14th, but I'm sure that there will be other events along the way that you'll have, so we can definitely keep the community with that knowledge that it's going on. Because I think sometimes people feel like if they don't see anything, it's not happening, or they don't know
right.
about it. They're like it doesn't exist. But I think keeping that in their face and saying, "Hey, Rhonda's keeping her promise, right? She is."
That is important
She,
to me. And I do just want to add that as we talk
mm-hmm,
about mental health and mental health awareness month,
mm-hmm,
May is mental health awareness month. And so next year, 2025, we are hosting
mm-hmm,
our cruise women's conference on the sea. And we have all our speakers identified. We have 8 dynamic women who are going to be speaking from mental health
mm-hmm,
to beauty. to wellness, to exercise, telling their
Mm,
story, their journey with mental health and things like
mm,
that. So I'm encouraging everyone to please check that out and
mhm.
join us on the Royal Caribbean next May, Mental Health Month. Get your
Nice.
one.
And hey, Mr. Mike, two of my smartest friends
Which Mike
ever.
Albritton?
Bus one, yes.
No, we love Bus
But
One. Mike and Denise
yes.
have always been my biggest cheerleaders, and they
Oh,
definitely
nice.
Rhonda's promise. They were one of our sponsors for our third anniversary that we had back in July.
Hmm.
So we can never thank Denise and Mike enough for all they've done for me and all the organizations that I pretty much have been a part of. They've
Right. Bus
made a
one has
change.
definitely been a staple in our community and, always grateful for their services. And that's why they keep on growing. I tell people all the time, when you plant great seeds, not just any seeds, but when you plant great seeds, your harvest will definitely grow.
That's right.
And so, they're an example of that. But you just, keep it on. And, I ask anyone who's watching the shows, and I ask all the time, and I never beg, but I do ask, a strong ask. Yeah, I tell people hit the share button. And because if you know anything about media, and I always say this and I always will because I have to remind people, if you know anything about media, commercials are expensive. They're not cheap, right? So when we do these shows and only thing people have to do is hit a share button, which is free, that is actually a sign of support. You're supporting the cause, right? Because it may not impact you. I have boys, so Rhonda's promise may not do anything for me, but I promise you it's going to do something for someone on my timeline who's looking at their daughters and saying, I want them to be a part of something great. I want them to be a part of a great program. And now you have Rhonda's promise, that's promising this, right? Or
We're going to keep
but
it. We make
you
sure we
keep
keep
it, right?
every promise we make.
Right. So
Yeah.
this is the great and the upcoming event, and you said in October, people will see more about it, and that's probably what next week sometime, right? I
Right,
think
right, right.
we're running out of time
Exactly,
in September.
exactly. That'll be about next week. You'll see the flyers start coming out. Save the date
Mm-hmm.
for 14th. It'll be from 9 to 1 at the Aloft Hotel in Delray, a beautiful hotel. And I
Yes, it
really
is.
reach out to all of our, I know we have mothers who are individual, but I love to work with groups. So if you're a
Mm-hmm.
group that have a mentoring program and you want to bring your girls, you will see that there's an opportunity to register as single or register as a group.
Mm-hmm.
And so last year I was real pleased at the groups we had. We even had some not elementary, middle and high school students that came through their schools. They registered through Bach
Mm-hmm.
Middle School of the Arts, let's say. That's an example of one of the schools, or you register through your high school, Park Vista High
Mm-hmm.
School. So please, I encourage you all to do that. If you have a youth group, this is a program for you that you can come. And I'll allow the adults to stay. The adults stay as
Mm-hmm.
volunteers and spend the day with us and really kind of get an insight of what their students learned. And so, we're one big family, and the more the merrier. And like I said, we want to reach that 150 goal this year. And I would
Mm-hmm.
love to see some of the young ladies come back for the third year, and really be able to tell their story about how it's been impacting their lives over the couple of years.
Right. I love it. I love it. And so this is why I definitely want to do these shows because I'm telling you, Children's Services Council of Palm Beach County does not get it wrong. Usually when they fund and sponsor something, it is definitely something that the community can benefit from, and Rhonda's Promise is one of those. So I want to thank you, Rhonda. I want to make sure we covered everything, given a brief overview of what Rhonda's Promise is. And if you have any more questions, how can they reach you, Rhonda? I know we're going to put your website on, but any other way to
I'm
reach
very,
you?
oh yeah, I'm very open. They can reach me in my email, which is
Hmm.
info@rondaspromise.org, or they can phone me. My number is 561-312-0539. Again, that's 561-312-0539. And I'm welcome and I'm open to any communication you have with me. And so like I said before we go, I have to give that pitch that you can also donate using my QR code that's behind me. And thank you.
No, I want to thank you and for keeping the promise, and because I know nonprofits are definitely not easy to run. So thank you and I want, before we end, just real quick, because I always wanted, that's that other part of me, that little journalist part of me is did you wake up one day and say, I want to start a nonprofit? Like I always want to know
I
this
always
actor.
known it. I've been in nonprofits
Okay.
for a very long time, and I've always known
Mm-hmm.
it. And it really is something people are fearful of because it's hard. It's
Mhm.
not a moneymaker. You're not going to get rich for doing a nonprofit. You do this kind of work because you love it. And so I basically did wake up like after about 2 weeks and said, look, I'm tired of
Mhm.
answering to someone else. I'm tired of making someone else's organization great. I can do this
Mhm.
and I could do this for my people. And that is really
Mhm.
honestly how it happened. And the name actually came from one of my staff when I was working at another location. And so we were talking about things that I had done as the CEO
Mhm.
of this organization. And she said to
Mhm.
me, you kept every one of your promises when you came in 4.5 years ago. And so that
Wow.
stuck with me. And so when I decided I was going to open and start a nonprofit, that's why I named it that. And to this day, I
Nice.
always thank this young lady for saying that. And she, it touched me and it stuck with me.
See, that was like the cherry on top of the story. Normally I ask the why before, but something just asked said, ask her the why now. And that was even greater closing
Thank
because
you.
now we really know the reason. So we gotta go for you harder now. So community, please hit the share button. That's all we ask. But it's for the community. And we
Mhm.
need these type of shows to go viral because again, the narratives are out there that we don't have anything for our youth.
Well,
There's
we
nothing
got
out there
plenty. We
positive.
got plenty.
We have
And we
plenty. We
need to
just need to.
work in collaboration. We're not
Hmm.
competitors, but we're collaborators. We all have our own box and we can play in the sandbox together and we have our own area and we can collaborate, that we can do that. And so I would love, like I said, any opportunities if someone else has it for us to
Hmm.
come together.
Okay. And also just before we end, any for the volunteers, because I want to make sure that, the right people reach out to you. So for the volunteers, for the young ladies, will you take male or just females that you're interested in for mentoring or
Females at this
speakers?
time, yes,
Okay.
females at this
Okay.
time. All my programs are women driven.
Okay.
And so females at this time, level 2 background screening we'll have to do because if you know anything about mentoring, we have to make sure that we're covered and we have all our
Mm-hmm.
paperwork in place. But just being able and being flexible, to maybe be able to mentor if you have some flexibility in the day, when the kids are
Hmm.
in school as well as in the evening. So that's
Okay.
really what we're looking for. And so they'll see a box when it says daytime, evening, or Saturdays. So those are the options for volunteering. But I know we can get this program off the ground. It's one that I want to do in 2025, but I don't want to start a mentoring program when we're not all in because that's the
Right.
worst thing to do is start and then disappoint the kids. And that's what I never
Mm-hmm.
want to do. So right now I have the capacity to do the 1 dayers or certain things like that quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
But when you
Mm-hmm.
start mentoring, you have to show up. Kids deserve that.
Couldn't said it better. So I want to thank you again. And I think that's it. And if
All
you
right.
have any final words that,
No, I
well,
just
we
want to
don't,
thank
I don't
you
like
for
to
this
say final words
platform.
anymore. I like to,
No, I have to thank you for this
okay,
platform and thank you
you're
for
welcome.
reaching out. And like you said, thank you for the Children's Service Council. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to make them proud and I'm going to keep every promise.
Yes, thank you. And so please remember, the people out there in Facebook world, you'll be seeing more of the GII recipients coming to you. We're going to talk to them like we talked to Rhonda today, find out about their program. And again, just keep the good news going. We definitely need it on our timelines. So I want to have a safe night, everyone. If you are in the midst of the storm,
That's right.
prayers go out to you, and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Good day,
All
people of
right. Have a
power.
good
Bye
one.
bye.
Bye bye.